In this video, we're going to unpack even more tools that we can add to the equation. We're going to get into what practice can look like, but in the meantime, I'll leave you with just two little tidbits. Our own self-pleasure is the prime practice ground, because it's a time that we can be completely on our own with ourself, with our own sensations and what's going on in our body. We can be ultra attuned to our body so that when we start to engage with another person, we already have that pre-existing context and set of practices that we're really comfortable with that we can bring into an experience with a partner. Another place that I like to practice and work out my microcosmic orbit is when I'm doing cardio, either jogging on a treadmill, a stair machine, some type of cardio exercise where our whole energy system is getting activated head to toe. Exercise is also an energy building process. It's one of the reasons why it leaves us feeling energized. It's such a great environment to work out our microcosmic orbit while we're working out our physical body. We've talked about the need to stay focused and attuned to what's going on in our body. We've talked about the Mula Bandha, the Kegel exercise. We've talked about the microcosmic orbit and using our breath to sip the energy up our spine. Now it's time to take our practice to the next level. This is where we get a full spectrum of tools to use in order to assist us with learning how to move energy through our system better. This is what it's really all about. Being able to build energy in our body, especially our genitals, and then using a nice variety of skills and tools to move it throughout our body in a way where we don't overwhelm our genitals and can experience full-bodied multiple orgasms. The next tool that we're going to engage is a yogic practice. For some of you, this will make perfect sense. For others, it might seem a little bit weird or abstract, but don't judge it. Just try it. See if it works for you in your own practice. This particular technique is closely connected to the microcosmic orbit principle of where energy goes up our spine and starts to go down the front and meets the front channel that goes down the front of our body back into the root again. It's right at the roof of the mouth. The technique is simply to stick our tongue on the roof of our mouth. What this can do is act similar to how an energy circuit works, where we need to have fully connected wires that complete a cycle. This is how electricity works in a home. This is how speakers work in an audio system. It's how a lot of the wiring works in a lot of the electronics we use day to day. It also applies to the electricity that flows through the human body. As we're engaging the microcosmic orbit, breathing energy up the spine, when it comes down the front is when we engage the tongue in the roof of our mouth as we exhale down the front. So just practice that with me. Let's sip the energy up the spine and then stick our tongue on the roof of our mouth as we exhale down. In the moment of heightened sexual pleasure, and we're anticipating a possible ejaculation, we might as well just engage all of the tools that we can. It can be difficult at first to retrain our nervous system to circulate energy through our body instead of spilling it outward. I like the attitude of all hands on deck until we get completely masterful with all the tools that work for us. Something that I'm going to talk about in a future video, just to give you a little bit of a preview, is how we can get to a point where we're so masterful at circulating energy in our body that eventually it'll start to do it on its own without any technique or practice involved at all. That is such a glorious sweet spot to be in, where we can just rest and relax and be fully present with our partner, knowing and trusting that our body is just going to circulate the energy without any necessary action required on our behalf. This opens up so much focus and conscious presence so that we can be deeply with our partner instead of having to be locked into our own internal experience of our pleasure and needing to manage the intensity level of it. I found that engaging all of these tools together in the beginning has really helped me arrive at that place where I can trust my body to just circulate the energy and do its thing on its own. Sometimes the pleasure gets to a really high level intensity where I have to engage these practices, but as time goes on, it gets way fewer and far between. So we've talked about the muscle lock, the breath, sipping the energy up the spine, the microcosmic orbit, the tongue on the roof of the mouth, The next skill that we're going to engage is our eyes. This one is particularly potent for me. Might not work for everybody, but it's for sure worth trying. Think of the eyes as an energetic steering wheel, that where your eyes move, and subsequently where your mind is focused, energy moves there. The eyes are like an energetic steering wheel. So when I'm engaging the microcosmic orbit, what I will often do is I'm breathing energy up the spine. I'll actually move my eyes upward. I'll look upward. And I can even just feel it right now shooting this video looking upward. My eyes are helping me draw the energy up my spine. And so upward draw, energy is going up the spine. I'm using my eyes pointing upward. And on the exhale, I'm going to look down. Up and down. I love this practice. It is so helpful for me. Now, it might not be the best tool for you. And really, a part of your mission is to figure out which of these tools do work the best for you. All I can say is that I'm a huge advocate for the eye. Engage the eyes and use the eyes as an energetic steering wheel. As I was just practicing that, you might have noticed that I used my hands to guide. This is another skill that we can apply to our practice, and that's using our hands to guide the energy and move it around our body. Sometimes this can actually be in the form of physical touch. Sometimes I like to use my hands or my fingers to coordinate with my energy wherever it's moving through my microcosmic orbit. I can't say this enough times. Where the mind goes, energy flows. And all of these tools engage that unique and magical force that all of us are capable of. We do the muscle contraction. We breathe the energy up the spine and exhale it down the front. We engage the eyes. We use our hands to guide and synchronize with the energy that's moving through our microcosmic orbit. All of these are like single threads on a big, huge, thick rope that all add to the strength of our practice. The next skill that I'm going to talk about is visualization. This can add another layer to our deep intention to move energy through our body instead of spilling it out of our genitals. The visualization piece is, like most of this practice, very much choose your own adventure. So the visualization practice works with using our imagination coupled with our intention. The union between our imagination and our intention here is the key to this skill. So we imagine some type of energy moving up our spine and then imagine it coming back down the front, back down into our root. This visualization can be a particular color. It can be lightning or fire, whatever your imagination wants it to be. The important thing is that it needs to symbolize energy moving up the spine and down the front of our body. In the past, I've used an emerald green light visualization. I've used lightning. I've used fire. I've used big plumes of butterflies. We can get really creative, and it really boils down to what type of imagery resonates with you and really supports you with rooting in the intention to move energy through your body. In the next video, I'm going to cover something that really drives all of these skill sets and practices home. It's the glue that really ties all of them together that can really empower us to move energy through our system effectively.